Kia ora and welcome to my final standard, Standard Honour, where originally I started with a score of 6 and moved up to a self-assessment score of 8. This is mainly due to, in most of the specialised competencies, my self-assessment reflects 1 to 2 movements up the self-assessment scale, or like 3 on one of them, which I will explain further. So I'll take you over to my page. One of the areas that I really enjoyed, and part of this was through my work on evidence-based practice, was that ensure all of my instruction is based on assessment. And so when I was looking through some of my evidence-based assessment work, I looked at how I could actually adapt the environment for the Blends preschool learners, and how I could actually put them into my practice. And one of the things that I found really helpful was what McDowell and Budd talk about in their 2018 paper of reducing clutter and adding black paper to the backgrounds for students that have CBI and complex learning needs. But it was really also interesting that they noted that children were still distracted by noise or movement, and the preschool can be quite noisy because we've also got parents there as well. So part of my future PD is to then look at how can I change the environment so that I'm reducing noise and movement within the room. I think the implications that it has on my practice, not just from actually changing the environment, which I actually have, and if you have a look below in the PDF you'll see some of the physical changes, but also the confidence I've gained from actually seeing it work within my practice, that students are able to concentrate and use their vision. So a little boy that I was working with, he, because of the noise in the room of parents talking, he was not able to visually target a sensory book that I was using with him. And then I decided to go into a separate room, which is the music room. There wasn't any music going, and he was then able to target it, and he had a big smile on his face. And it was kind of that moment when I realised the evidence-based practice had actually translated through to my practice and was impacting my learners. So that was quite a special moment. Also, another one of my favourite competencies and areas of learning was with the self-advocacy aspect. So this was not just part of Fun Friday, it was actually, I was part of an in-betweeners group that is in preparation for high school. So the learners are transitioning to high school in the next couple of years, and we were looking at self-advocacy skills and collaborating with each other, which was actually part of the Fun Friday program. So that's why I put that artifact in there. Whoops. Also, you can see Lillian's document down below. But what was really amazing was that Lillian, she's a high school student now. She's in year 12, and she's already been through some of the issues that children with low vision have in high school. So she was explaining how there's 5 teachers. Some of them won't use your screen sharing onto your iPad. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to let people know about, for example, how are you going to let the teachers know what your needs are in terms of your vision impairment so that you can actually have accessibility to the classroom information. I really liked the way that she provided a document as well about self-advocacy, noting what your visual impairment is, what your needs are, and how that different teacher can support you. C. Castellano 2010 talks about how children and parents go through a developmental process of initially the parents are advocating for the child and then the child starts to develop these advocacy skills, and then as they come into their high school years, they then have the ownership of advocating for themselves and becoming independent, and that process needs to happen so that they can be successful members of the community. She also talks about some of the stages that it's really important that the child understands their own visual impairment and feels really comfortable with having that impairment. I know that this is going to be important for me in the future, as I know that I will have a learner coming onto my role that has a degenerative eye condition, and that part of it, and she's actually just starting high school, so part of that process will be about me helping her to understand that self-advocacy process, and also her parents to understand that process too, because the more information I can give them, I think the more confident that they're going to feel about this. So 6 point, that was about 6.5 and Lillian's document, which you can see down below. I think that's it. Thank you.